I'm going to show you how to create classes using Java in Eclipse platform. And let's open the workspace. Okay, first thing, we need to create a project. Go to project, file, project, and then we select Java project. Next, let's call it registration system. Next, so as you can see that we have Java Standard Edition 1.8. This is what we are using. Next, we have a source folder, and we can create more than one source folder, but in our case we use the default one. Finish. Okay, so now this is the project. As you can see that we have two folders, one for the GRE system library or Java library. There are many jar files, and this is the source folder. So the first thing we need to do is to create classes, and the classes can be defined as a template or blueprint that describes the behavior or state that the object of its type supports. From classes we can instantiate objects, which is an instance of class that has variables and behaviors. Okay, so I already have a class diagram I created before, so we can use this class diagram to build our system. I used Papyrus to model the class diagram. Okay, so as you can see, we have three type packages. We have a package called edu.university, and it has a class called university with two instance variable, university ID and university name. One is integer and the other one is string. And we have four methods: print details, add faculty, update faculty, and delete faculty. And also we have a faculty class which is part of the eduniversity.faculty package, and it has two instance variables with one method. The relationship between the association between the university and faculty, it's they call it share or composite relationship association. Each university can have at least one or many of faculties. And then we have also a class called department, which is part of the package edu.university.faculty.department. Same thing, it has two properties. Actually, it's not here defined, right? But anyway, let's just keep it right now. And the relationship also between the faculty and the department. Each faculty can have one or many departments. Okay, so let's build first the university and the faculty classes. Okay, first of all we need to create a new, right-click, create new class. Now here's the package. We have .edu.university, and we can call it university. Now here we have a checkbox. We can click on checkbox to create the default constructor, and as you can see that the class is public. and if we click on that checkbox down, it says that we can generate, it will generate comments. So finish. Let's just close. So this is the class. We have a university class, and we can start. This is the class, and this is the constructor of the class. All right, so we can now define two instance variables. One is called university ID, and we have another private string university name. All right. Now the constructor it's used to instantiate the object in the class. We can have as many as we want of constructors, but each constructor must have its own signature. So we cannot have two constructors with the same signature. So the default one is public university without any parameters, and we can initialize our instance variable with some initial values, and can say this dot university name equal, the word this means it's that this is this class. So when you type this and you press dot, it will show you all the parameters or variables, instance variables and methods within the class. So this is the default constructor. We can have another constructor. It's called public university, and we can have parameter called int ID. Okay, so now we can say this dot university ID equal ID. All right, and then we can say also this dot university name. Oh, give me a sec. Dot university name equal single bracket. So we have another constructor now. The difference between the default constructor and the new one is that we have a parameters. We can add a parameters when we instantiate the class, and we can define the ID of the university. We can have another constructor university with int ID comma string name. Okay, we just correct that. University int ID, oh sorry, comma, and this one has to be corrected here. All right, now we can dot university ID equal ID, and this dot university name equal name. Okay, so now we have three constructors. Each one of them is has its own signature. Now let's have a method we call public print details. In this method we just need to print our instance variable. So print void details, print details, and we can use the system dot out dot print line, and we can say this is the university ID. All right, and then we put university ID. All right, and then we can say system dot out dot print ln, and we can say the university name this dot university name. Okay, so now put plus here, concatenation. So now we have the university class, which has two instance variable at the top here. We have also three constructor for the class university, and we have one method called print details. Now, in order to execute or run the class, instantiate the class, we need to create the main method. So if we click here on the source and right click the source and say add a new class, we can have it in another package. Let's call it education dot run, and if we just uncheck the constructor and check the public static void main string, so we can have our main function. We need to write the name of the class. Let's call it run classes, or run class, finish. Now if you see that we have a class called run class, and it has one method. This method is where we're gonna execute our process or our classes. So we need to define our class instantiated. So just to write university let's call any name, AAU equal new university. All right, now since university is not defined within the same package, we need to import the university class. So there, one way to do that is we go to source and we can say organize imports. So right click and select source, organize imports. So now as you can see that we have the class university, which is part of edu.university package, is imported. Now if you notice that the constructor university without any parameters is the default constructor, we use it to instantiate our instance AAU. See, we use that constructor, and we can use the other constructor by typing university. Let's call it let's say Carleton University uni equal new university. Now we need to define an ID. Let's call it 1000. Should be inside 1000. Okay, so we used, just make it capital letter. So now we used the second constructor where we have a parameters ID. Now when we instantiate this objects, the value of 1000 will be defined within the university ID. Alright, we can also use the third constructor by typing university var city, let's call it TTU, university is called TTU, new university, and we can have 1200, so 1200 comma the name of the university, let's say Telecom University. Okay, so now we use the third constructor where we have two parameters. Now let's print the values of the three objects. So what we need to do is just to type AAU for the first object dot print details, and we can say Carlton uni dot Carleton dot print details, and also we can say TTU dot print details. So that's it. Now we will print the details of the universities, and if we run the program, can right click the class where the main program is, the function, the main method exists, and so just say run as Java application. So now we see that we run the program. The first university, it has university ID with no name because we instantiated using the first constructor. The second one, we use the ID, the 1000 ID, so it's printed there without having a name because we instantiate the second constructor. And in the third one, we have university ID 1200 and the university name is Telecom University. Alright, now in order to have to add values to the first object, since we don't have an ID and we don't have name, we can define the values of the instance variable. So we can say AAU dot university ID, but since it's private, we cannot see it. Now we can define it as public here. Public parameters, and this is public. Okay, now we can print, we can say AAU dot university ID equal 900 and AAU dot university name equal we can call it University of Ottawa. Oh, this is wrong. Ottawa. Okay. So now we have defined the name. Also, we can say for the second object dot university name equal Carleton University. All right, now if we run the program, run as Java application, as you can see that now for the first object we have university ID 900 and the university name is called University of Ottawa. Same thing here. Now let's try to get it back as private. Since the instance variable of class has to be private. The modifier of the instance variable has to be private. This is part of, or as it's a principle of object-oriented programming. It's called encapsulation. So they have to be private, and if we save the program, we will see that the university ID and the university name will not be recognized by the run class. Okay, simply because they are private and only they are recognized or can be seen only by its own class, and other classes will not see it. So in order to solve the problem, we need to create getters and setters for these instance variables. So if we right click and say refactor, source, there is something called generate getters and setters. Okay, as you can see that we have our instance variable university ID and university name, and it has its own getters and setters. Get university ID, set university ID, and get university name and set university name. So you can pick any one of them or you can pick them all. Alright, and they are of type public, and also we can generate comments if you would like. Okay. Alright. So now as you can see that the getters and setters has been defined. See public int get university ID, and it will return back the university ID. As for set, it will set a new value for the university ID. Same thing for the get university name, it will return the university name, and as for the university name, it will set the new name value for the university name. Let me just put them at, let's just keep them here. Okay, now we can use the getters and setters in other classes. So for example, in order to handle the changes here, we can, let me just comment them, we can use the setters. So what we can say, aau dot set, and it's going to be 900. So this replaces the aau dot university ID equal 900, and we can say aau dot set university name University of Ottawa. Okay, now this replaces the other one. As for the Carleton University name, we can say Carleton University dot set university. All right. Now we use the setters. If we save the program and run it, we will see the same result. So now we can remove these lines. All right, now we have the university class. Let's create a new class for the faculties. So we create a new class, and it will be under package called university edu.university dot faculty. All right, and we call it faculty and has default constructor finish. Now we have the faculty class. Same thing, we apply it to the faculty class. Okay, so now we have a private int faculty ID private string faculty name. All right, private has to be private I here. All right, let's define them in within the constructor. Faculty ID equals 0, and this dot faculty name equal name. Okay, no, equal blank. Okay, now we can have another constructor called faculty integer, making this ID, and this dot faculty ID equal 0, no, ID, and this dot faculty name equal, we can have another constructor comma string, comma, string name, name. All right. Now we have the constructor. Now we can have the print details, public void system dot out dot println print line. We can say the faculty ID plus this dot faculty ID, and we can say system dot out dot print line the faculty name plus this faculty name. All right, let me just correct that. Now we have the print details. All right, if we get back to the diagram, what we'll see that the university can have multiple of faculties. So we need to implement this in the university class. So if we go to the class, we should have private and we should have faculty type array, because we have one or many of these faculties, and let's call it the faculties equal new faculty. Let's say we have 5 faculties. All right, since the faculty is not recognized because it's in different package, we need to import. We can import it manually. We can say here, let me just check. Yeah, import edu dot university dot faculty. All right, now we need to reflect this on the constructor. Let's just move the getters and setters and put them at the end. Usually they appear at the end. And here we have our constructor. We have 3 constructors: university without parameters, and let me just zoom it a little bit. Where is it? Yeah, zoom. Okay. We have university without parameters. We have another constructor, university with parameters ID, and we have a third constructor with two parameters. Now we need to introduce the third constructor, this dot faculties equal null. Okay, we can have it here, same thing here, this dot faculties equal null. That means doesn't have any faculties. We can introduce it here in the third constructor, and we can say faculties Alright, now we can say this dot faculties equal faculties. Alright, okay, now we fix that. Since we changed the constructor, this has changed. Let's correct it the other way. Let's have another constructor. Let's just copy and paste that one, copy and put that one here, Control V, remove the faculty, and this. Alright, so now we have foreign constructor, one without parameters, one with only one parameter, the third one is without two parameters, and the last one is with three parameters, the ID, the name, and faculty. Now we have our class is ready, and let's instantiate, and we have faculty here. Let's now instantiate our classes. First of all, we need to create our own faculties. So we can have what we call faculty equal we need to import organize import, so we can have new faculty let's have it with IDs 100. Let's have it with, let's use the third constructor, faculty of engineering. Then we have another faculty, it's 200, faculty of medicine. Then we can have a third faculty, and let's call it 300 faculty of law, LAW. Alright, now we have three parameters within the, let me just correct it this way. This one has to be like this, Alright, let me just zoom it back. Okay, now we have three faculties. Now let's add them in the university. Let's just remove all these universities and begin from the beginning. Let's have one university, and it's University of Ottawa. University of Ottawa equal new university, and it has 1000 University of Ottawa. And one last thing, it's faculties. Alright, now this faculties is that variable we define it here. Now let's print the details. So let's call it like this: U Ottawa, U Ottawa dot print details, and let's try to print it, see what's the output. We just write run as it's not printing any. Oh yeah, one more thing we need to do in the universities, we need to add the details of the universities here. Since we have the details of university ID, we have the university or the details of university name. Now we need to do one thing is to add, we need to make a for loop for, and in this loop we need to print our universities. So int x equals 0, x less than faculties dot length, and then x plus plus. Now we can print our own faculties. So let's do need to do is system dot out dot print line the faculty. No, we can actually print the details. What we can say faculties x dot print details. All right. So now we can print the details. Let's now run it. So as you can see that we have a university which has a university an ID of 1000, and it has a university name, University of Ottawa. It has three faculties. One is 100, Faculty of Engineering. The second one, 200, is Faculty of Medicine, and the third one is 300 with Faculty of Law. So this implements the relationship between the faculty, which has the university of faculty. The university has multiple faculties, which appears here in when we run the program. Okay, so In this video, I show you how to create class diagrams and how to create the instance variables and the method with the constructors of the class diagram. And also I show you how to instantiate the object and how to uh, define the relationship between different classes. That's it for this video, and I hope I see you in the next videos. Thank you.